Operation Titanic was a series of military deceptions carried out by the Allied nations during the Second World War. The operation formed part of Operation Bodyguard, the cover plan for the Normandy landings in 1944. Titanic was carried out on 5 to 6 June 1944 by the Royal Air Force and the Special Air Service. The objective of the operation was to drop 500 dummy parachutists in places other than the real Normandy drop zones, to deceive the German defenders into believing that a large force had landed, drawing the troops away from the beachheads. Titanic was one of several deception operations involving the Royal Air Force on D-Day. Others were Operations Glimmer and Taxable, executed by No. 218 Squadron and No. 617 Squadron, and radar deceptions by No. 101 and No. 214 Squadrons. Background: Operation Titanic formed part of Operation Bodyguard, a broad strategic military deception intended to confuse the Axis high commanders to Allied intentions during the lead-up to the Normandy landings. The most complex portion of Bodyguard involved a wide-ranging strategic deception organized by the London Controlling Section in southern England called Fortitude South, through decoy hardware, radio transmissions and double agents. Fortitude attempted to inflate the size of the Allied force in England and develop a threat against the Pas-de-Calais. As D-Day approached, Allied planners moved on to tactical deceptions to help cover the progress of the real invasion forces. The D-Day naval deceptions were planned for the eve of the Normandy landings to develop threats against the Pas-de-Calais involving No. 218 Squadron and No. 617 Squadron of the Royal Air Force and Harbour Defence motor launchers of the Home Fleet. Titanic was intended as an accompaniment to these deceptions, as well as to create general confusion for the defending forces on the morning of D-Day. It simulated paratrooper drops. The idea for Titanic originated from a plan submitted by David Strangeways, which in turn was a rewrite of a plan from the Supreme HQ Allied Expeditionary Force Ops. Operation Titanic was divided into 4 operations, consisting of various combinations of dummy paratroopers, noisemakers, chaff and shash personnel. The noisemakers, codenamed pintails, were attached to each dummy to simulate rifle fire. They also carry a small explosive timed to destroy the dummy and give the appearance of a paratrooper burning his parachute. 4 squadrons from No. 3 Group RAF carried out the drops. Number 138 and Number 161, flying Handley Page Halifax and Lockheed Hudsons, as well as No. 90 and Number 149, flying Short Sterlings. M.R.D. Foote, intelligence officer for the Shash Brigade, was ordered to arrange the Special Forces contingent. He first approached the head of 1st Shash Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Paddy Main, who refused to take part in an intelligence operation, having had a bad experience implementing deception plans whilst in North Africa. However, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Franks of the 2nd Shash Regiment was convinced to take part in the operation. 2nd Shash provided 12 men under the command of Captain Frederick James Fowles and Lieutenant Norman Harrypool. After landing, these teams were to locate and open fire on the German forces, allowing some to escape in the hope they would report the parachute drops. In total, around 400 dummies were planned to be dropped as part of the operation. Titanic simulated the drop of an airborne division north of the Seine River, near Yvetot, Yarville, Doudeville in the Seine Maritime region and Fauville in the Eure region. 200 dummies and 2 Shash teams were parachuted in across these 4 Titanic targets. Titanic 2 would have involved dropping 50 dummies east of the Dives River to draw German reserves onto that side of the river. However, this segment of the operation was cancelled just before the 6th of June. A further 50 dummies were dropped under Titanic 3 in the Calvados region near Malta and the woods to the north of Baron-sur-Odon to draw German reserves away to the west of Caen. Finally, Titanic IV involved 200 dummies dropped near Maroni in the Manche. As with Titanic I, the intention was to simulate the dropping of an airborne division. 2 SHASH teams were also dropped near St. Lo. This group, commanded by Captain Fowles and Lieutenant Poole, landed at 0:20 on the 6th of June 1944, 10 minutes ahead of schedule, to deceive the Germans into thinking there was a large parachute landing in progress. The SHASH teams played 30-minute pre-recorded sounds of men shouting and weapons fire, including mortars. The mission went according to plan. The only aircraft lost were 2 short Stirlings and their crews from No. 149 Squadron taking part in Titanic 3. 8 men from the SHASH failed to return. They were all either killed in action or executed by the Germans in Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Impact. At 2 o'clock on the 6th of June 1944, the Germans reported the landing of parachutists east of Caen and in the Coutances, Valognes and St. Lo areas and hearing ships' engines out at sea. In response, the Germans ordered the 7th Army to increase the level of the preparedness and to expect an invasion. But General Hans Speidel decreased the level of alert when it was reported only dummy parachutists had been found. However, General Feldmarschall Gerd von Rundstedt ordered the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend to deal with a supposed parachute landing on the coast near Lisieux, which was found to consist solely of dummies from Titanic 3. The dummies and SHASH teams of Titanic IV diverted a Kampfgruppe from the 915th Grenadier Regiment, the 352nd Infantry Division Reserve, away from the Omaha and Gold Beaches and the 101st Airborne Division's drop zones. The regiment, believing an airborne division had landed, were employed searching woods instead of heading to the invasion beaches. Enigma intercepts from the area of Titanic I revealed that the German commander was reporting a major landing up the coast from Le Havre and that he had been cut off by them.